So the theme song for Royal Rumble was, quote, blow your mind, and it did not blow my mind. Mostly because it was everything I knew it was going to be. So, before I get into the bad stuff, let's get into the matches. Okay, Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella, and Naomi versus Alexa Bliss, Mickie James, and Natalia. It was a simple tag team match, 6 women tag team match. It was okay. Like, the only highlight of it was the suplexes, but ultimately it was just your standard, let's get the crowd ready for this matchup. And I was honestly expecting Team of Bliss to win the match, mostly because Mickie James is back and they need to rebuild her up a bit. But no, it instead goes to Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella, and Naomi. And I was surprised Naomi got the pin. I was honestly expecting either Becky Lynch or Nikki Bella to win to get the win for their team. But it seems like they're going to build up Naomi, and they hinted that out with the commentary team, how Naomi has all the tools to become women's champion of SmackDown. So I think they're building her up, but that could be wrong since they've said this stuff before. But with WrestleMania season rolling around, we don't know. Now, there's nothing really memorable about this matchup. It's just your standard protocol. Get this out of the way, get clustered all these feuds up, and let's just do this. So, nothing really special about that. Now, let's get to Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus Cesaro and Sheamus for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Okay, I'm just gonna ask, why did the club win? Like, Cesaro and Sheamus, they should have been built up because they defeated the New Day, that, the longest reigning tag team champions of all time in WWE. Normally, I would have expected Cesaro and Sheamus to get the victory here and have them get a big monster push as a tag team division. But no, we instead got us play it safe, play it somewhat safe mentality, and it goes to the club. And I'm wondering, okay, I know the club's been getting back some momentum in recent weeks, but considering the damages they went through last year, I would have to say it would have to take them several months to fix all this, and to just give them their tag team championships when really it doesn't feel like they truly earned it. It kind of makes them belt hollow now. So I could be wrong with Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, but I'll have to see where this goes leading down for their tag team run. Though something tells me they're probably going to drop it at WrestleMania. So yeah, Sheamus knocks out one of the referees. A referee comes back in. Another referee comes in, and Carl Anderson gets the tights and on Cesaro, and they get the victory. I was surprised by that, but like I said, did it feel earned? Because no, it didn't feel earned because the 2 members of the club weren't really booked like they should have been. If they were booked much better last year, then they would have looked like legitimate contenders. So yeah, I don't really get the logic on that. Now let's get to what many people consider the worst match of the night: Nia Jax versus Sasha Banks. It lasted 5 minutes. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, Nia Jax exploited the leg, and then Sasha Banks accidentally exploited her own injured leg. But it didn't feel impactful like everyone had hoped. Like, I was hoping this would be Nia Jax's best match, but it wasn't. In fact, she hasn't had a best match in WWE main roster, so people might complain that, oh, she's not ready for the main roster yet. She needs to go back to NXT. So, yeah, Nia Jax, I know you tried, but at least you tried, Cake. And Sasha Banks, like, I didn't complain about Sasha Banks being on the pre-show, even though I did not like it. I kind of somewhat understood because this was a dual promotion event, and and this was all cluttered up, so they had to move some stuff to the pre-show. Now let's get to the actual pay-per-view event. Charlotte Flair versus Bayley for the Women's Championship of Raw. And like I said in my build-up video, I wasn't expecting anything big to happen in this match. I knew there was not going to be a title change. They're going to keep that belt until WrestleMania season for Charlotte. Until WrestleMania 33. So yeah, Charlotte retains her belt after a natural selection on the apron, and that was brutal. And Bailey showed this never say die attitude, which I respected, especially how her shirt, her coat she was wearing said "Just Bailey," basically saying it's just me. I don't need to be this fake character, Cena, and whatnot. But yeah, that's one thing I could say. And when her crowning moment does come at WrestleMania, that's most likely the place. It's gonna be awesome. But WWE thinks that, well, let's try and make this a Daniel Bryan story, even though it wouldn't work in my opinion. Not because Bailey couldn't perform it well, because she could. It's just that WWE needs to not legitimately like her. Like, you could make the argument, well, there's Kevin Dunn, but really, it seems more he's focusing on SmackDown Live's NXT division than it actually on Raw, because the creative team already has that covered. With Stephanie McMahon burying everybody with her authority figure. Like, I get the guys can't do anything about it because hitting a woman's wrong, even though they did this a lot back in the Ruthless Aggression and Attitude Era. So, yeah. And the women, they just don't do anything. They just glare at her and just walk away because, like, it's not like they could strike their leader, their oppressor. So, yeah. Bailey, I know you're going to most likely win the title at WrestleMania this year, but yeah, Daniel Bryan's story, like, WWE management needs to legitimately not like you and feel like you don't deserve the belt instead of trying to copy something that happened organically that can only be faked for so long. I was actually expecting the Cruiserweight Championship match to be the starter of the show because, well, it's the Cruiserweight title, and no one cares about the Cruiserweight division at this point. So now let's get to Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns in a no disqualification match for the Universal Championship with Chris Jericho suspended in a shark cage above the ring. Or as Chris Jericho liked to say, he was described as a sexy pinata in his eyes. So yeah, anyways, Chris Jericho was suspended after assaulting Roman Reigns. So that automatically destroyed any chance of a clean victory since WWE can just make the excuse. So Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns, they had a hell of a matchup. Like, I knew this was gonna happen. It's Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. Like, I know people hate Roman Reigns' guts, but still, Roman Reigns can deliver in matches. And now we get this matchup once again, and it looks like they're finally capturing that magic that happened the first time they fought in back in September. So I'm glad about that. And let's see. I was honestly worried that Roman Reigns might have busted his head, might have gotten concussioned because of what happened later in the match, but let me get to that when I get to that. Kevin Owens goes ahead, gets a pile of steel chairs, builds up a mountain, and then fails epically when Roman Reigns gets to Superman punch him and he falls headfirst into the pile of chairs, crashing down unconscious. And then Roman Reigns asks for good measure, okay, powerbomb time onto the table. And it's not the Spanish announce table, I'm surprised. It's the English announce table. It's our regular announce table. I was expecting the Spanish announce table to take the bullet, since, the Spanish announce table usually goes down. So yeah, I was surprised that didn't happen. In fact, it didn't get destroyed at all tonight. That's a first. And just when it looked like Roman Reigns was about to win, Braun Strowman interferes, hinting what could be one of the WrestleMania feuds: Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns. So, considering what happened later on in the Royal Rumble match, I think I know what the Royal Rumble match is. I think I know what the WrestleMania match for Roman Reigns is. So, yeah, Braun Strowman attacks Roman Reigns, most likely in revenge for what happened a few weeks ago, early January, when Braun Strowman was speared by Goldberg and Roman Reigns. And Braun Strowman chokeslams him onto the German announce table, I believe. And I think he hit his head on the monitor. I couldn't be 100% sure. Like, the commentator said that he did, but I don't recall. So, he could have gotten a concussion. So, yeah, Braun Strowman didn't clear the table like he should have done. And then Kevin Owens capitalized on this and got a pinfall victory, once again proving that he can't win a clean victory over anybody nowadays. This is why I keep thinking him winning the world title was going to be detrimental to him than it was a positive. I was hoping that I would be proven wrong with the brand extension, but clearly Raw creative team is still operating like it's still the same, like it's Seth Rollins' title right now all over again. He needs to be booked incredibly weak. You see, we can't have big bad people around. We need to make them look weak in front of the heroes. Yeah. And Chris Jericho somewhat got involved by throwing brass knuckles down to Kevin Owens, and that failed miserably. I was expecting that to be the deciding factor, but no, we gotta have Braun Strowman interfere in this matchup, and they don't establish a reason why. They just guess. I mean, like, that's probably the reason, but he didn't go after Goldberg like I would expected him to go after Goldberg in the Royal Rumble match and try to eliminate him and then build up a match for Fastlane between the two. But no, we're not doing that. So now let's get to Rich Swann versus Neville for the Cruiserweight Championship. I was prepared to skip this match. I was prepared to just go to the bathroom because I knew this was going to happen. It was going to be a short match. No, it actually lasted for 14 minutes. That is the longest since the Fatal 4-Way Cruiserweight match in their debut on the main roster Raw. And probably the third and the probably second longest match since Kalisto versus Brian Kendrick. So this was probably their best Cruiserweight match since the Brian Kendrick-Kalisto match at Survivor Series. And Neville defeats Rich Swann, and Neville has just looked so menacing with that added beard and goatee. Like, I just like his look because he looks so menacing. Like, he's bringing out his fangs and how they bring up how he used to be a hero for people, and now he's turned to the dark side. Which begs the question, oh, Neville can turn heel, but Roman Reigns can't? Okay. So in the end, Neville defeated Rich Swann and captured the Cruiserweight Championship, therefore solidifying himself as the king of the Cruiserweight division. And I was glad about that. He finally won a title that's not the NXT Championship, but honestly, I hope he one day wins a world title, though that would have to happen when Triple H takes over, probably. And even though he could, I'm pretty sure Dunn would still be alive to make sure that doesn't happen, provided Triple H can't fire him for some reason. And now let's get to the match that I hated with passion. John Cena versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. I knew what was going to happen. Like, there were several things running through my mind. One was it was going to be John Cena's going to win the belt. Let's see. The second one is going to be AJ Styles gets screwed over because politics. They're going to repeat most of the matchup of SummerSlam, but this time present an alternative ending to it because coming up with something different in a matchup doesn't work. Like they did with The Rock and John Cena at WrestleMania twice in a row. They're going to do the same thing over and again, but this time they're going to have a different ending. Like, the last 3 minutes, it was clearly obvious, yeah, this is SummerSlam all over again, except it's going to be an alternative ending. It's like WWE's scared to try something different in this match. Like, I was hoping for Samoa Joe to interfere and help AJ Styles win, but I knew I was in denial. So John Cena defeated AJ Styles, therefore rendering Ric Flair's legacy completely superfluous. Like, Ric Flair, to many people, overstayed his welcome a lot because he just didn't know when to stop, but then he finally looked like he put a stamp on his career when he lost to Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 24, I believe. But no, he came back and went to TNA, further tarnishing that legacy by overstaying his welcome, even though he really should have retired after that match. And now his one defining legacy that makes him stand out amongst many wrestlers has been forever destroyed. Because John Cena doesn't know when to keep his ego in check. I don't know what's going to happen to Styles. Word is that he's scheduled to move on to feud with Shane McMahon. So basically, he's not in the main event, even though he really should have been. So, John Cena, here's my rhetorical fuck you and my middle finger. So I don't really give a damn at this point. It's now effectively saying the new era sucks now to WWE. It's about John Cena again. I am not looking forward to SmackDown for once. So, anyways, because we're gonna get the same, I've made history, I've chased history, I've done this, I've done that, and I don't care if Ric Flair gave his endorsement, his blessing, because I don't like it. Half of Cena's title reigns were transitional belts. Ric Flair, okay, he had long title reigns, and the last few reigns were politicked by WCW because they were running out of ideas and they were desperate, and also because they were incredibly lazy. And Ric Flair didn't politic half of those title reigns. Well, I'm pretty sure he didn't politic, like, at all. John Cena politicked half of them because, oh, I want to take that record. Like, at this point, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if WWE did this. Okay, you win the title, now you get to be in the Royal Rumble, and you get to fight yourself at WrestleMania. That's a great match. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if WWE was so unable to develop its own balls to say no to John Cena. I would believe that would be possible. Though, of course, they have Roman Reigns, and they've been not having the balls to turn him heel, even though I'm pretty sure Roman Reigns would be requesting it by now, especially after what happened in the Royal Rumble match. So, yeah, John Cena then decides to repeat WrestleMania 30 with Bray Wyatt and decides to hug a kid. Who just happens to be a Make-A-Wish kid. Okay, I'm just gonna say it again. The kid had the best night of his life. But when I look at it, I'm just pissed off when he just looks like he's leeching. He's a leecher. He likes to leech off of his charity work. He likes to leech off of what he does for the community. He leeches off of the wrestlers to get a cheer, even though he really doesn't need that. Like, he could just cut a promo and the fans initially would boo him, but then we start to like him. But no, John Cena, he needs to leech off of things because he needs to suck the life out of them. So excuse me if no one likes my opinion on this. So, yeah, I'm not talking about this match anymore, and I will never talk about it ever again. Probably. So, oh, and there's one more thing that pissed me off about this match, but I'll get to that after I talk about the Royal Rumble. Now, the Royal Rumble match, I did mention this in my previous build-up video, that what Raw was focusing on was part-timers and just saying the Royal Rumble match is going to be epic because of these part-timers. SmackDown, however, concentrated on building more subplots, building up a subplot storylines for the Royal Rumble match to feel like, oh, it's going to make it stand out, which I commend SmackDown for. Like, they developed like several subplots. Baron Corbin's monster heel, which was destroyed by John Cena because he disappeared afterwards. Let's see, The Miz and Dean Ambrose's feud. And then you got Apollo Crews and Dolph Ziggler going at it. And then you have Dolph Ziggler's heel run. Like, they were more focused on building subplot storylines than Raw was focusing on building their own storylines. They just had to just rely on Brock Lesnar and Goldberg and kind of The Undertaker, really. And I will say the whole, I've dug 29 holes for 29 souls was kind of awesome. Referencing his last promo he cut on SmackDown, which begs the question, why is he not representing SmackDown in this? He really should. So, yeah, I was generally surprised by that part. And then finally on Raw, he shows up with Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, and himself in the ring in a surreal moment and a surprising moment because I wasn't told that Undertaker was going to be backstage. So I was surprised by that. Now let's actually get to the Royal Rumble. Big Cass and Enzo Amore come out. Big Cass is number 1. Oh, hurrah! The sexual harassers are back. Oh, I can't wait for them to get eliminated. But moving on, I could go ahead, but let me just talk about these certain wrestlers that I didn't expect to make appearances. Cruiserweight Jack Gallagher, he was awesome. He had some moments. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There was no big surprises. Like, I was expecting, like, part of me was hoping for Kurt Angle. No Kurt Angle. No. Like, we got Ty Dillinger. Like, that was required. There was no Kenny Omega, because even though I know he's not going to join the WWE, he could have worked out a deal with Japan and said, hey, can we do this with WWE, show up, get some promotion for Japan, since we're preparing to expand in Japan soon. I mean, expand into US soon in the summer. Like, that would have made sense. Um, and The Miz comes out and he doesn't play Daniel Bryan's theme music. The pieces were right there. It would have been perfect heat. Like, fans that clamored to see Bryan in the Royal Rumble and hopefully win. And then he retires, but then they could have fooled everybody thinking he's coming back. He's coming back. And no, it's The Miz. And that would have pissed everyone off. And I knew Finn Balor wasn't going to be in this match because he's still injured and won't be back until until later in WrestleMania season, around after Fastlane, I think, or maybe prior to Fastlane. I could be wrong. Maybe in March. So yeah, and Braun Strowman was eliminated really early into the match, so that was a little surprising, by Baron Corbin no less. I was expecting Braun Strowman to wait till Goldberg came out, and then Goldberg eliminates him. Brock Lesnar, he gets humiliated again, and gets eliminated by Goldberg, so now Goldberg is 3-0 in their personal war, which means Brock Lesnar will only have 1 point over this when the WrestleMania comes around, because they're building up a match for them at WrestleMania. And now everyone was hoping, who's going to be number 30? Is it going to be Finn Balor? I know it's not going to be Finn Balor. Is it going to be Kurt Angle? Is it going to be Kenny Omega? No, it's Roman Reigns. Why? Like, I knew. Oh dear God, they did not just do what I think they just did. They seriously think that Roman Reigns can still get popular? You did hear the fans chanting bullshit. They said, this is bullshit. Like, they knew it was not going to be Daniel Bryan. It would have been hurt to dream. It would have hurt to dream to see the Miz come out, but like, fuck that logic. But, and also, right before I get to one moment of bullshit that really pissed off fans, Luke Harper has chosen his allegiance to nobody now. He's betrayed Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton of the Wyatt family. Discus clothesline to Bray Wyatt and then attacks Randy Orton, and then Bray Wyatt tries to control him again, but Luke Harper decides, nah, fuck it. He's gonna do Sister Abigail to Bray Wyatt, which surprised me. Like, oh dear guys, this is really gonna happen. And no, that didn't happen. Instead, Randy Orton saves the day, and yeah, that's pretty much it for Luke Harper's subplot. Now they're going to build up between Randy Orton and Luke Harper probably at Elimination Chamber, while Bray Wyatt moves on to something else, which I'll get into after the Royal Rumble part. So now The Undertaker eliminates Goldberg. Oh, and Corey Graves had an orgasm when Enzo Amore came out, because now he gets to see Enzo Amore get eliminated by Brock Lesnar, which lasted about less than a minute, maybe 40, 50 seconds. Yeah, I think that sounds about right. And then The Undertaker's dominating, and then he gets eliminated by Roman Reigns, and oh, the amount of people this pissed off. Oh, this so pissed off everybody. So, yeah, that was... Now... man, I don't want to say it, but they really did it. They really finally did it. With this elimination, Undertaker is going to want revenge. But I'll get to that in a minute. So, the final 3 are Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, and Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns eliminates Bray Wyatt, looks like he's about to eliminate Randy Orton, gets RKO'd, and Randy Orton wins. Okay, I'm going to be honest, I did not expect Randy Orton to win. He was not on my list of contenders to win. He would probably make it to the final 5, joining Bray Wyatt. And to see Bray Wyatt being the final 3 was refreshing to see, because it looked like, will they actually do it? Will they actually put Bray Wyatt in the main event? Well, yes and no. Now that Randy Orton has won, everyone's wondering, are they building up to John Cena versus Randy Orton again? Because God knows that is a stupid idea, which I agree because we've seen that millions of times. But no, that won't be the plan from what reports have said. You see, WWE has a different plan. They plan to have Randy Orton win the Royal Rumble, then go on to main event WrestleMania with Bray Wyatt. As in, Bray Wyatt wins the title at Elimination Chamber. Which pissed me off more about the match because now the AJ Styles versus John Cena round 3 match is rendered superfluous. Because why would John Cena just win the title, then drop it the next month within 2 weeks? So that's the system now. John Cena just wanted the title, then just drop it afterwards because, hey, fuck it. I get to break the record next. It would have made more sense if AJ Styles was still champion and then dropped it to Bray Wyatt. At least then he would have put him over. John Cena, he's not going to put him over. John Cena's just going to come up with an excuse. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be because of Samoa Joe. Because WWE's building up Samoa Joe for just versus John Cena soon. Because they want to do that for WrestleMania. So, yeah, while it was the biggest Royal Rumble match, it certainly didn't feel big. Like, yeah, we had some big moments, shocking ending, yet with The Undertaker, Goldberg, Brock Lesnar not even making it to the finals, yeah, that was kind of disappointing. And Roman Reigns, oh boy. Okay, Vince, I know you don't listen. I'm hoping Triple H is listening. But you have to turn Roman Reigns heel now. You have no choice in the matter. Because if you're really building up Roman Reigns to go one-on-one with The Undertaker at WrestleMania after he deals with Braun Strowman, you're going to have to do this. Or else you'll be irreversibly damaging Reigns permanently. Because I guarantee you, as much as fans want Roman Reigns to succeed because he needs to turn heel, but they want him a major character overhaul, they know that if he doesn't turn heel, his match with The Undertaker is going to be descended into chaos. Like, they know Undertaker's going to lose to Roman Reigns because Vince McMahon can't imagine it. Can't seem to imagine Reigns losing clean. They have to either come up with an excuse, which I'm pretty sure The Undertaker won't do, or Roman Reigns wins. So, yeah. This WrestleMania might be controversial soon. You got a pointless John Cena title reign to last 2 weeks, probably. Because if they really build up Randy Orton versus John Cena, I'm just skipping it. I'll talk about the other matches, but I'll skip that main event match. Because there is no point in caring about that part. So, yeah, Randy Orton, best of luck to you. Roman Reigns, best of luck to you. Bray Wyatt, I hope you get the title Elimination Chamber. John Cena, go fuck yourself. I hope all these guys come out looking great. I was going to say strong, but Roman Reigns is already booked strong enough. So, best of luck to everyone for the road to WrestleMania. We officially have begun. And now, I say adios. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more.